Hey everybody, welcome back. I am author MD New, and these are my writing tips and tricks for authors. Today we are going to be talking about the pros and cons of joining a writers group, whether it's virtual or online. So if you haven't already, I invite you to please like this video and please subscribe to this channel. It really does help out a lot and it does mean the world to me, so thank you all very much, especially for being here with me today. So let's jump in and talk about joining a writing group. So you have pros and cons to everything, and of course we're going to go over the pros and cons of joining a writers group. So let's start with the pros. The pros, really simply, are you find wonderful support. These are fellow authors who understand what you're going through and really know everything. They don't know everything, but they're there, right? And it's just a support system. It's somebody who can commiserate with you. Next step is you can find potential critique partners and beta readers. All authors spend time reading other people's books, and that's phenomenal. So, and really helpful, right? So you can actually go in and potentially find somebody who will be a critique partner with you. You can swap stories and do the different critiquing of their books for you. And they might be a beta reader for you if you maybe agree to beta read their book. The other thing is, another pro is learn additional ways to promote and market your books. This is really challenging for authors unless you've got a huge PR firm behind you. Pretty much the marketing and promotion, as I've said in numerous videos, is all up to us and on our shoulders. So anytime you can pick somebody else's brain and learn other ways to promote your work or to market your books, that's a great thing. Another pro is, again, you're going to learn from other authors. But these authors might be further along in their writing career, right? You might be working on your very first book, trying to get it out there, and you might be in a writers group that has an author who's got 15, 20, 30 books already out there. Maybe they've been on the best sellers list a couple of times, won some awards. Who knows? But being part of that group, you get to learn from them, and they will hopefully, since you're all part of this writers group, share with you what they've learned, which I think is really helpful. I know I got really lucky with some great writing partners, and they really helped me out. And again, that's why I'm doing these videos, because I want to share what I've learned, and I'm not ever saying that I know it all, because I don't, but these are all the things that I've learned that have helped me out, and I really wish I would have known from the start. The other thing is you can find potential reviewers and readers. So what I mean by this is if you're working with in an authors group and you have different authors from all points of their careers, you will have people who, oh yeah, I've used this review service, or I've used this review group, or I get readers from my newsletter. You have the potential there, as long as you're not one of these people that just comes in and goes me, 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 where you can, maybe ask them if you can be part of your newsletter. Maybe ask them if they will share their list of reviewers with you. Those types of things. So it's a good way to help expand your network. Now, with this though, I have to say this, is please don't be one of those people that joins a writing group and wants everybody to stop what they're doing and focus on you. That's not how it works. You are there to learn and support one another. You have to help one another to the best of your abilities. If you don't have a lot of books, or you're a brand new writer, but you have time to read and beta read and maybe critique books, that's a good way to help. Everybody appreciates that. So what I'm saying here is just don't come in and expect everybody to give you everything and you not having to do anything, because that's not how it works. The other thing is, another great pro is you're going to make some friends who understand the struggle of being a writer. Really, other than our close family, our partners, our wives, our husbands, whatever, you know, no one really understands what it's like to be a writer, to sit alone in an office and write stories. We have these visualizations in movies and TV about what it's like to be a writer. Well, if you're a writer and you've read this, I would really love to hear what your take on this is. So leave that in the comments below, because I sure know that for me, when I see these writers in movies and stuff like that, unless they're like a famous writer, right? That's something totally different. But these authors who write their first book and all of a sudden it becomes a bestseller in the movie or whatever. It's like, yeah, that's not the reality most of us are going to have. But with this pro, like I said, you will make some friends who understand this struggle and understand what it's really like, and that way you can all joke about it and laugh. The other thing is, and this is kind of really an important one, is it helps you from feeling all alone. As I've already said, being a writer is a solitary thing. It's not like you go to an office every day with 50 of your friends and coworkers and you all sit there and write all day, and you meet up at the water cooler or whatever. Most authors sit at home, sit in an office, sit wherever they do their writing and write. They're usually by themselves. They'll usually spend 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 hours writing in a stretch, and they don't get to interact with people. So a pro to joining a writer's group is it helps get rid of that feeling of being alone. So as with all of life's pros, we've got the cons to talk about. And they're kind of, you're going to get most of these almost immediately, but it's worth pointing out because there are cons to joining a writer's group. One, it takes time. You're going to take a lot of time finding the writer's group that works for you, because there are a lot of them. So take your time, find one that works for you, but don't be surprised if you join one writer's group and you find out that that's just not going to work and you have to join another one, or you have to go and join another one, or you have to go and join another one. So that's a con, right? It's going to take time to find the writing group that works for you. If you're shy and if you're not very outgoing, it's going to be tough, because you have to go and you have to put yourself out there, and scarier yet, you have to put your work out there for this writers group to again evaluate and talk to you about, and you have to be willing to share it, and that can be really terrifying and anxiety inducing for some people. So that is a big con. Another con is you might not be ready to leave the comfort of being all cocooned in your den writing your stories, right? So being in a writer's group, that all of a sudden forces you to be out there. So that could be a big jump from your comfort zone. So all of a sudden you go from your little world that's this big to all of a sudden a world that's this big, and that can be terrifying. So it really forces you out of your comfort zone, and that can be a big con for some people, especially for a lot of writers who happen to be introverts or whatever. Next con, I've kind of hinted on this. You may find people who don't get your writing, or scarier yet, don't get you. All of a sudden, you join this writers group, you think it's great, and you realize that maybe you're the only author of color, maybe you're the only queer author, maybe you're the only whatever. And all of a sudden you're in this group, and they might not get what you're writing and they might not understand. So that's really scary and very disappointing. So that's a big con when it comes to joining a writers group. But be assured, there are writers groups out there for everybody. Every genre, every type of author, you'll find one. Keep looking. The other con is, since we're dealing with people, there's a potential for conflict. Never fails. You get 5 people in a room together, it's very, very rare that all 5 of you will agree on exactly the same thing. It doesn't happen. So it's all about being, negotiations and listening and, again, supporting one another. But conflict, that is a big con for when joining a writers group. And if you're adverse to conflict, then really kind of think about it, because it's going to happen. It inevitably happens in all groups. Outside, groups, anything more than 2, right? It will happen. Lastly, is someone, and this doesn't often happen. In fact, as far as I know, it hasn't happened to anyone that I know. Oh, wait, that's not true. It did happen to one author friend that I know, which was just, it was painful, but it happened a really long time ago. Somebody could take your idea, claim it as their own, and write a book or write a story about it. That's called plagiarism. It could happen. I'm not saying it will. Doesn't happen very often. It's just something to keep in the back of your mind, and it is a huge con when you're sharing your work, when you're part of a writer's group, you're getting critiques, you're getting beta reads, whatever, and something like that happens. So just be careful. Know that it happens. And if something strikes you as dodgy, or you get that sensation inside of you, where you're just like, oh, this doesn't feel right, this doesn't feel right. Go with your gut, right? Gut instinct can never steer you wrong. So, in conclusion, for me, just so you kind of know where I'm coming at with all of this, is I'm actually part of two very active writer groups right now. One is called CUSAC, which is out of Sacramento, California, and the other is called BACWA, the Bay Area Queer Writers Association. Both have been wonderful and very helpful. I've got to meet some excellent people. This has given me additional opportunities that I wouldn't have had on my own, and it's just been a great opportunity for me. I was also part of an online writers group called Scribophile, and they're a virtual group, and this is where actually I met a lot of my very first author friends who I am still in contact with now. We've been supporting one another for years. I want to say probably 7, 8, 9 years now, and we all write different things, but they have been a wonderful group of people, and Scribophile is a great way, especially if you're very introverted. You can do it all online, and you don't have to go and meet people. You can do it all from the safety of your house. They have a really good system in place. So, if you're a new writer and you want to join a group, I can highly recommend Scribophile. They were great. So I will leave links to all three of these groups where you can find them in the description below. But those are my current writing tips and tricks on, I guess it's not writing tips and tricks, it's pros and cons of joining a writer's group. So there you have it. I've been author MD New. Thank you for joining me today, and as always, please, if you haven't already done so, please like this video, give it a thumbs up, maybe share it with some other author friends that you've got out there who need some help. Subscribe, it's perfectly free, and it means the world to me, so thank you all very much. Have a great day, and we will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.